All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you and a very, very warm welcome to ISRL, Indian Supercross Racing League presents SX1. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Bikes for me is speed, bikes for me is a way of letting loose. It's also something that's an adrenaline rush.
We always say Godspeed, so I think when you hear bike, it's Godspeed. So the speed is one factor that comes to the mind, and the thrill.
I'm a bike rider myself, so I do have a small little gang, and we actually go for rides for about 10-15 days. So yeah, so it's something, it's there in the DNA, it's there, and that's a thrill that everyone is seeking today.
Bikes is one engine that is so amazing. Like, since college days I've been on a bike, and the love for biking is always there.
Bike is something, when you get into it, to biking, there is no go back from there. This is some addiction which you really start enjoying it. Good luck, because as soon as it comes to your life, there is no coming out.
The way we saw the drivers, on the rear side of the stage is phenomenal. So it gives a lot of encouragement for us that we were associating in the right way, and we like this association to move along.
Today, we shall rewrite history. We're very excited to welcome each one of you to this much awaited, this grand launch.
We will be unveiling the massive logo which defines acceleration, excitement, speed, passion, relentlessness, and we want to show this logo along with our title sponsor, SEAT, and now it's called the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League.
3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the new logo over here. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. The unveiling of the logo.
Always united for liberty, peace, and freedom.
The fact that it's so professionally handled, it's going to be an actual league. There's going to be a winning, losing, strategizing, coming back next year stronger, trying to figure out who the best racer is, who performs under pressure, what you can do to make your team better. I'm a huge fan about not only the people that work as the rider or the player, but it's also behind the scenes, the kind of strategizing, the kind of infrastructure needed, and the fact that they've worked so hard over these last 5 years to put this thing together. It's not a joke, right? It's not कि one off होने वाला है और फिर खत्म हो जाएगा. So my excitement actually comes that hopefully in the coming 2, 3, 4 years, we'll have a bunch of very competitive teams trying to outdo each other on a year-to-year basis, and that has just built excitement for me as a fan of sport to be more interested in the team rather than just the bike alone, because I think bikes are amazing, you can see them everywhere, but what makes it interesting in a league like this is how you use the same bike. Two different people can use the same bike to their advantage or disadvantage. How do you strategize? How do you play out the whole season, making sure that you're on top of your form? Riding is also a lot of a mental thing. It's not only the physical form, right? You got to also know when to take the lead, when to hold on, how to control your emotions. So it's really interesting. I find it like there's a lot of human quality to racing. So I'm really excited that the sport is coming in a very professional manner. I'm looking forward to being part of it in some capacity or the other soon.
ये सिर्फ स्पोर्ट्स नहीं है, जज्बा है, जुनून है, पागलपन है, मैडनेस है, पैशन है.
How did we get here? Well, let's go back to where it all started in the 1970s. In 1978, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum was the first ever Supercross event held in a stadium. It paved the way for such races to flourish. Supercross essentially was a stadium version of motocross racing and was said to be the pioneer of off-road sport for everyone: riders, manufacturers, and sponsors. Far away from the spotlight in the US, the sport of Supercross was building its own story in India. In fact, by the mid-1980s, the Supercross scene in India was almost at par with the global Supercross. This included World Championship rounds, international Supercross races, national Supercross races, and stadium Supercross events. What's more, the stadiums in India saw record attendance to witness top-level riders from the USA, UK, Japan, Australia and Europe. At one such Supercross race in Pune, 20,000 plus people turned up to witness the race. Many other cities in India, including Indore, New Delhi, Pimpri Chinchwad, Bangalore, Nashik, Mangalore, Kolhapur and Mumbai. Long before the modern leagues of cricket, kabaddi and football even came to life, Supercross was drawing large crowds to stadiums across cities with unmatched entertainment. But then, this glorious story faded away, just as Supercross was on the verge of becoming India's biggest sport. That was not the end though. Fast forward to 2012 and Supercross witnessed its new dawn in India. Ishan Lokhande, the first Indian Supercross rider to race for an international team, pledged to resurrect the sport in India. Supported by his brother Ashwin Lokhande and multiple national champion and international rider Veer Patel. In a cricket-crazy nation, the challenge was to build an event that would bring back fans, media and sponsors to Supercross in India. This led to the formation of Pune Invitational Supercross League, which witnessed a massive growth across its 5 editions. With the Pune Invitational Supercross League becoming a huge success, this team of Ishan, Ashwin and Veer floated the Vadodara Supercross, and this league also became an instant hit on all counts. Not only have these two leagues revived the glory of Supercross in India, but they have also proved that Supercross and its high adrenaline action and thrills are ready to leave their mark on the subcontinent.
It's simple. I think it's a no-brainer. Dirt biking. What is? You ride on dirt, right? Yeah, and that's dirt biking. That's where it all starts. Somebody taking his bike off the tarmac and having a thrill for adventure and just going off-road. That's where it all starts. But then, that's one part of things. It's a larger picture. You streamline, and dirt biking has so many various different elements. There is enduro, there is dirt tracks, there is motocross, there is supercross, rally, and there's so many parts to dirt biking. Supercross is one which is probably the toughest, most exciting, entertaining, and the toughest on the body for the rider.
India had Supercross long back, but it was like a huge gap, and then we wanted to revive it. And globally, the sport is going like skyrockets, and India has the potential. It is something big in automotive, which is not happening around here in India. And yes, Supercross is a sport which can reach miles, and that is why me, my brother and Veer, we came together and thought that we need to do something for the sport and take it back into limelight and take it to the higher level.
And almost a decade since the second glorious chapter of Supercross came alive in India, Supercross India Private Limited, with its subsidiary companies and its associates, plan to change Asia's Supercross broadcast and media. With 8 teams set to be given franchisee rights to participate in a round league format, Supercross in India is set to be hosted at leading athletics, football and cricket stadiums. Top international riders, team trucks, mechanics, managers, trainers, team principals, officiating team, track makers and a huge squad will come together to create the world's biggest Supercross league. Get ready to become a part of the next sports revolution of India.
We as a racer, we raced in India, I think about more than 10 years. We started racing in India in 2004 and we stopped racing in 2012. So we had a good, pretty experience and we saw the sport holds a larger potential in the Indian market, and the sport was kind of fading away. So all 3 of us, Ishan was my teammate, so we decided to get together and plan this league. Took us around 3 to 4 years doing the back-end work and setting up the league, which was conceptualized in 2019, and we got the official license in 2021.
Friends, media, and all enthusiasts present here today on a very memorable occasion to launch the logo for the Indian Supercross League. These three boys have been extremely patient, hardworking, and what is commendable is that they have been taking the time and not try to rush into something and create and launch a league or a franchise league for the sake of launching something. They have been in touch with me for quite some time, and we have been seeing the processes they've adopted, which is highly commendable. We have a lot of confidence in their ability, and I'm sure that this project and the league that they're going to create for the Supercross fraternity is not going to just stop with being a national league, but I can see a global stage being created from this product. India has come a long way in motorsport in the last couple of years. As most of you motorsport enthusiasts know, that not only in the four-wheeler and the karting space, two-wheeler has come of age. Two-wheeler motorsports has become truly a huge sport in India, and it covers almost all the disciplines from racing to rallying to gravel sport to motocross, supercross, and now we have the Supercross League.
I think we saw the passion with Ishan, Ashwin and Veer, and they've also been associated with CEAT for more than a decade. And in 2014, when CEAT first worked with them, we saw the kind of passion, the amount of commitment they showed towards the game. And when they came back with this proposal, it was very hard to say no. So, and it also works very well for our business. And that's a larger reason why we kind of went on to this partnership.
Supercross is a lifestyle. You know, it's not just an athlete and a sport. It's a lifestyle. And the riders are different. They are not like a common athlete. They have their own aura. And also the main part that we can look into this is the juniors category, you know, where we start them young at the age group of maybe 14, 13. And that is where an athlete starts his career. And you know, for brands like who are related to kids, juniors category, there's a huge opportunity.
Hilux basically has a very good fit with India Supercross Racing League. The reason is very simple. This vehicle has excellent off-roading capabilities. So you can take it anywhere and it goes very smoothly. And not just on-road. That's why in India we call it live a fuller life. And we find a very good synergy between this and this event, because this event is also about dirt bikes being tested to the extremes. And that's what we expect our customers also to do for the Hilux. So that brings these two together, you know, and we are very happy to be associating with this league.
So yeah, it's been a very long journey, and we have been talking to a lot of brands, and I really feel that two brands like CEAT and Toyota, they have shown such a tremendous trust in such a new arena, new area which is not happening in India. And I think that shows that there is potential for this sport to grow. A brand like CEAT coming on board is huge. A brand like Toyota, which is coming on board, is huge.
This league holds a big potential for the Indian market in terms of all the automobile companies, the manufacturers, OEM parts, etc. It has a direct integration with each and every brand. And I think India was lacking for a platform for the automobile industry to showcase their products and all. And I think the Indian Supercross League is a perfect fit to showcase their products.
Firstly, race days are holidays for the spectators, and it is the most important working day for an athlete and a team. So we live for the weekends, right? All the races, because that's when the races happen. A typical race day for Supercross starts with 2 days of action. One is when all the practices happen, there are press media days, qualifying for grid position on the start line, and then there is the second day which starts early in the morning with fans coming in, getting to see their favorite riders, the bikes, checking out sponsor displays, having food, listening to music, and you know, having a gala time. So a race day for a fan is an outing. It's not just a 2-hour race, you know, it's more than that. Like I said, it's a lifestyle event. but then the real time comes at 6 p.m. when the races start. That's when you will see riders from different categories go in and battle it out in races. So battling it out in the stadiums on these man-made obstacle tracks which push the boundaries for the athletes to compete on. Now, on a race day in the Indian Supercross Racing League, we would have multiple categories. For the first time in India, we'll have a dedicated 450cc international class where top athletes from around the globe will participate on teams, of course. And then similarly, we'll have a 250cc category for international guys. Then we mix it up with the Indian and Asian riders, bringing them together to uplift the competitiveness, get more action-packed racing. And followed by that, you have the 85cc, the real future of India. 3 years down the line, we want to see these boys get up and race the 250cc and keep climbing step by step. And eventually to have a 450 rider from India would be a massive achievement for the league.
Looking at the Supercross League right now, although there are like 4 categories which are the big boys, but I think the main focus is on the juniors, because that is where you will get the big boys eventually. If you mold them well, if you train them well, those are your futures. And that is where we are looking at, even if we are getting international riders initially, but we want Indian juniors to come into the picture and be in the top line. That is what my entire goal is through the C8 Indian Supercross Racing League.
On a particular race, it's double dhamaka, we have mixed matched a format of motocross where there will be 2 races per category. So when I say 2 races, the riders go in for Moto 1, because in our terms it is Moto 1 and Moto 2. That's race 1, race 2. They do a race 1, then all the categories finish their races for the first bit of the things. Then there's a break time and then you go into race 2, that is Moto 2. For every category, the winner on that day in that town will be declared on the basis of his overall performance of race 1 and race 2. That's where we declare him as the overall winner for that round. So like any other motorsporting events, maybe road racing, car racing, there's a point system. It's a very clearly laid out point system by the FMSCI, wherein riders keep fetching points, and the more the points, more the merrier, the winner at the end of the league.
Let me tell you about my racing history. I started racing when I was 6 years old. Started off riding the RX 100s, the 135, and then gradually moved up riding the bigger bikes. The experience, the excitement and the thrill, what it gave me was unmatched. That's when I stopped, decided that the racing cannot be shut. I have to keep on racing. Training under the world champion in America, breaking bones, crashes. I don't even remember how many crashes I had. But that did not stop me from winning 2 national championships in India and the youngest ever Indian racer to win a championship. I feel my journey does not end here. Now being a promoter of the Indian Supercross Racing League, I want every Indian racer to get a chance to be on the top and train at the level what the Americans, the Russians, the Europeans get, the infrastructure, everything.
This is the first time in the world in the sport of Supercross that a franchise-based league is being organized. So the C8 Indian Supercross Racing League is the world's first franchise-based league, and that too in India, a completely made in India league for the globe to come and race and be part of this in our great country. This is not a city-based franchise league. It is a brand-based league. What I mean by that is a lot of brands have the opportunity to be team owners, be partners, and whatnot. For us, we don't limit ourselves by doing the league in a certain section of the country. It allows us to take events to multiple locations, reach out to people, bring the sport home to the real fan. Today we do 3 cities, On the west coast, we can always do east coast, we can do south, we can do north. And that is the freedom which we have kept for ourselves because we want to take Supercross across the nation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and dignitaries on the dais, and my friends and promoters of the Indian Supercross League, Veer, Ishan and Ashwin. In fact, when they all mentioned that this effort is on from the past 5 years, and I'm happy to say I've been associated with them, and they have been excellent as a team, and I wish them the very best, and through FMSCI we will always be there for any support. Thank you.
The first time when I was on a track for motocross was in Big Rock with C.S. Santosh in Bangalore. I just wished I was younger, because if I was younger, I could be that crazy kid on a motocross. It's amazing. The feeling and what it has is a combination of a skill and power, and how you have to take a decision on that moment, make it happen.
I was 8 years old when I bought my first moped, but of course I broke that bike because it wasn't done for jumps. But then it has been growing. Last 10 years I've been traveling around the world doing freestyle shows, so I mean, at least it feels that I wasn't too old when I started. I got my bike when I was 7 years old for my dad, and I was riding at home and built some small jumps at home, and I start like this. It was funny riding at home, small jumps. And when I was 8, I rode my first motocross races, and that was always, the jumps was always interesting. The finish jump, we do some, say hello to the people, I try to make some small whips. That was for me the funniest part.
I am excited because when Ishan used to do a Pune Supercross League, I used to own a team with him that time also, and we had, I remember, we had a South African international rider that time called Anthony, and the way he used to do the skydives in the sky with his hands free and all, it looks dangerous, but they have that passion in them, these riders, and definitely we look forward for this league whenever it's happening, and our whole support is there to the league owners for this league.
I have a small kid and I will not let her to be on a road, but I definitely think about it. If she asks me to want to be on a racetrack, professionally pursue this. And that's what this kind of event gonna do. They're gonna give them a space to be safe, to learn, and then just access the races.
It is safe. It is a FIM recognized sport. So it's not just like an event, it's a sport recognized by a governing body. So riders are insured, the athletes are insured. Even the people who are coming to watch, they are insured. So, you know, it's not that it's a risky sport. Yes, obviously it is a risky sport, and any motorsport, if you see, has a risk. But then you train for it and you practice, and then you are a safe rider on the track.
Just wait and watch, stay tuned, follow all the channels. There's a lot in stock for all the fans, and for sure we would want you to come and watch these races live and fulfill your adrenaline deficit. It's exciting, it's action-packed, no retakes, 2.5 to 3 hours of back-to-back action and racing.
So I would just say, come to the stadium, get to know what Supercross is, and you're gonna fall in love with it.
I have to tell you how I felt as soon as I walked in. I have to say my first feeling, I was so proud. Because for the people who seeing me, they think I'm a foreigner. But I've been in India more than 20 years of my life, and I feel that the big part of my life being Indian. And I know Ashwin and I know Ishan from many years ago in Pune. And when they invited me, I was expecting something nice, but I have to say, I'm so proud because something like this gonna put India in a world map.
When my brother and Veer used to race, so I used to just go around with them for all the races, be the backbone, support them. And now I feel that, you know, we need to give it back to the athletes, the future of Supercross. And we need to create a platform for them. Whatever we were doing till now was fine, but now we have to step it up, and that is what we are going to give them through the Indian Supercross Racing League.